Already chat was booming before we hopped on. How is everybody doing? It's good to see you all in the show. Just myself today. Tack isn't feeling too good, so I wasn't able to join, but we wish him all the best. Hope to see him in a future show. But for today, myself here on fcmobile Live. Excited to see you guys. I'm doing good. I'm excited that we're like a week out from launch. Can you believe that? Like September 26th, new game is going. FC Mobile is launching, which by the way, it's just going to be an update on your phone, so you don't have to do anything. But it's exciting to think how quickly the summer, or I guess winter, wherever you are, has flown by, and we're almost at launch. So it's an exciting time. If you've played the beta, you know kind of what to expect. Some cool new features coming your way, at least on gameplay, at least on training. We'll have some info on new events. You've seen some of the deep dives come out as well. There's locker room. We had some visuals and audio. So overall, it's looking to be an exciting launch day with a lot of cool stuff coming out. And as part of this show, it's a little bit of a deep dive into a specific part of what's new, and that's gameplay. So we have gameplay coming up as our third little item there, with a special guest. Gameplay producer Timo is going to be coming on the show, walking us through all the details about gameplay. I'm really excited for this one. A lot of cool things in there, and I know if you played the beta, you got a little bit of a taste of it, but it kind of really peels back the layers to understand what's there. So really excited for that. Obviously got some news around regions. Before we get into those first 2 points, I know I've been seeing some questions in the community about launch day, so just wanted to reiterate, it's September 26th is when the update goes live to become FC Mobile. We'll be releasing some more information on the exact time when we go into maintenance and when the new game will start up. So stay posted to our socials for the complete details if you want to be the first people into the game. I know I'll be there. I'll be jumping in right as we go live, but I know everyone in the stream will want to be there too, so stay posted. And with that, we'll also have some more information on some of the other deep dives coming out. I know training has been something that's come up, how that works, as well as a new tournament mode for a certain competition. I know some people have noticed pop up. So if you know what I'm talking about, those were going on today, but more info on what that looks like later this week or early next week as we head into launch. So excited for that. I'm also seeing a lot of people in chat mentioning about the Founders event. If you didn't notice, there were some new Founders players that went out, a 118 Mahrez, 117 Mitrovic, a 115 Adams. I know a lot of people are looking for the 120s. Unfortunately, those were not coming in there. But if you like some of those players that dropped in, there's a chance to get them. And I see someone asking, why is the stream so late? Well, we're switching it up. It's a bit of a different show. We have a guest coming on, so we have a little bit of a different time. But overall, if you are here in the show, I'm super glad you're able to join. And if you haven't been able to make the show, we're going to be posting the VOD on later, so you can watch that on Twitch or on YouTube. But before we get into that, and I know some people are going to be mentioning that, Antoine, why are you waffling? Let's get into the really exciting news. We're 5 minutes into this show. I've been waiting for weeks to tell the community about this, building up to this cool moment, and that is regions. So I know a lot of people have been asking, what is happening with the 7 regions in the game? Are we going back to 1 region? What is happening? So the big announcement, drum roll please, is that in FC Mobile, we will be returning to 1 global region. So really excited. I know the whole community has been asking about that for a long time. Dubs in the chat. I agree, Ruben. Dubs in the chat, 1 global region. Very exciting. So what does that mean? What does 1 global region mean for us? So that means that leagues, friendlies, division rivals, leaderboards, and matchmaking will be all done in 1 global region. So that means you will be not separated from people in different regions or shards. It's all going to be 1 like we had it in previous seasons before. I guess in 2021 and before. So I see a lot of dubs. It's very exciting. I know the community's been asking about that. And I wanted to go into a little bit of the details here. We will be having a deep dive on leagues about how you set up a league, all the details. It's pretty much similar to previous seasons. But the big one is you can now have a league with anybody from around the world. So if you are in the UK and you want to add someone from Brazil, that can happen. You can be in the same league across the world. So I'm in Canada, I can be in a league with someone in Australia, or I can be in a league with someone in France. So that applies to leagues, that applies to adding people as friends. That means you can play Verse Attack head-to-head friendlies against anyone in the world. Division rivals as well, you can matchmake against anybody around the world. And that also means that leaderboards will be fully global. So one leaderboard for Division Rivals, Verse Attack, one for Division Rivals head-to-head, and one for Division Rivals Manager Mode. And I see in the chat here saying, Jason, can't wait to finally 1v1 you again. If it's Verse Attack, you're definitely going to be me, but head-to-head, I think I got a good shot. But in any case, it's really exciting. I'm looking forward to playing some head-to-head again with a lot of you from around the world. And I know that this has been a big dub that we've been waiting to share with you guys, and it's a really exciting moment. And that is the same thing as well. Market is fully global as well. So just some little details here. We'll be having the article coming out, which will have a lot of FAQs in there, but matchmaking is just, you'll notice that you'll be able to match up with people around the world, but some of the ping limits might be a little different. So someone playing from the US against Brazil, that might be more feasible than, say, US to like Singapore, US to India. So we're obviously working on that to make sure that the head-to-head experience is still as good as ever. So I'm going to ask the chat here. I saw a lot of dubs, but I know you guys are all excited, and I know you guys can start planning your leagues accordingly. So if you had some friends from other parts of the world that you want to bring back into your leagues, this is going to be the moment to queue up those conversations and get started on recruiting your top league. So, very exciting. I know it's a positive moment, and I'm really glad that we can announce it here on the show and share that with you guys. So that is great to hear. I'm seeing a lot of dubs in the chat here, which is awesome and really, really great to see. So that was kind of the big regions announcement. I know some people are saying, oh, is it going to be about one region? Well, it is. We got one global region, so that was the big news. But the other exciting news, and I want to get into that because that's going to be a big chunk of today's show, is gameplay. So if you've played the beta, you have already an idea of what the new gameplay looks like in FC Mobile. It's a little bit slower, but it's a little more methodical. There's some new impact controls. There's some different kind of approach to shooting. A lot of really cool adjustments. And instead of having myself sit here and talk you through it, why not have one of the guys who's worked on it and brought it all to life? So I want to introduce here into the show FC Mobile Live. I want to introduce Timo, our gameplay producer. Welcome, Timo, to the show.
Hello, guys. Wow, I'm excited to finally be here on this show. It's an honor. Absolutely. Hello, Antoine.
Hello, Timo. It's good to have you on, and it's good to have you here to talk about gameplay.
Yeah, super excited, guys. So much to talk about today. And just so you know who I am, gameplay producer. I've been doing this for 1 decade, so I've been on this franchise for a decade doing gameplay, but I can honestly tell you guys, really, never been more excited than today, because the team has been so hard at work, not just across the whole game, but especially gameplay. We put a lot of effort into this, like really taking our gameplay to the next level. Now, personally, I would describe it, our gameplay has matured over the last 12 months building this, and we built on a very strong foundation. And I'm sure you guys are going to be excited getting your hands on FC Mobile next week. So I do want to take a moment here, and I'm not doing this because I'm on stream, but I truly mean it from the bottom of my heart and from the team. Thank you to this community for the constant feedback that we receive. And I want to tell you guys, we listen. We listen to that feedback. We read the forums and all the different channels where we receive gameplay feedback. So I'm sure a lot of that you'll see reflected in today's show. That I'm going to go through. But also, I just wanted to say sometimes gameplay.
The greatest storyteller always had the perfect story whenever you needed to hear it. There were adventures that could stir the weariest soul. or even move you to tears. But surely a storyteller so great must be just another story, right?
Far Cry, Rise of the Revolution, official prequel to the Far Cry 6 game.
Yara is now more prosperous than ever. Our transformative project is not without enemies.
We are the revolution!
I can tell you one basic thing I've learned. Revolution achieves nothing.
It's time to rise up! It's time to take whatever is at hand and fight!
Longer. So gameplay is complex. You change one thing over here, it breaks something somewhere else. It's like a ripple effect. So gameplay takes time to establish, to tune, to balance, to make sure it's ready. So you're listening, but some changes may take time. But I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be pretty excited and happy with what we've done. So yeah, big thank you to the community, and just excited to be on the show, tell you all about it.
Echoing that sentiment too. Big thank you to the community, the Discord channels, Reddit, wherever feedback's coming in. A lot of that
Grazie ragazzi alla community.
And it's reflected in the gameplay here. So, without further ado, let's jump into what's new with gameplay in FC, starting with dynamic game speed. Tell us a little bit more about that. And we've got some cool clips as well to
So, FC Mobile really stands for authenticity.
Eccolo, parliamo del tiro dinamico.
New ebb and flow of the gameplay. So what we wanted to do is a more composed, realistic, and mobile-friendly game speed. We know that sometimes in the game, you feel quite fast, and you receive a pass instantly. A defender is pressuring you, so we wanted to give you more time on the ball. Make decisions, read the play, and also diversify the build-up play that way. So giving you more space, more time, slowing things down.
Cosa ne pensi di questi cambiamenti, questi tiri, questi movimenti molto fluidi, devo dire.
So dynamic game speed really breaks down into two areas. The first one is pace. So let's roll over to the next clip. So on FC Mobile you will see
qua ragazzi potete vedere l'esempio come funzionerà la corsa.
And you can see this here in the sprint race, the guy on the top, ID number 1, you can see he's the fastest guy, so he has a really high acceleration and then a medium rated and a low rated player. So you can see these differences and you feel it when you play.
Io questo stavo a dire live, nella loro live io dicevo ma che cazzo è cambiato?
I understand maybe there's a concern here right away in saying, hey, it's all about pace this year.
Grazie al cazzo, mica tutti corrono lo stesso modo.
So if we roll on to the next clip, you will actually see a sprint race between a dribbler and a defender. So what we didn't want is that the dribbler can just dribble away and defenders can't catch you. So the blue player has a head start, but the defender is catching him. Why?
Qua potrei finalmente vedere la differenza dello sprint tra un attaccante e un difensore.
Right? Just like in real life, imagine you're dribbling and you're sprinting down the sideline with the ball.
Il giocatore blu ha uno sprint iniziale, però il difensore lo prende. Come nella vita vera.
Just in pure locomotion to catch. So it's very important. Gameplay balance, top priority. So let's move on to the next clip. The second part for dynamic
hanno parlato di un cazzo. Comunque.
This is very exciting, and here
qua spiegano la differenza tra quello, la teoria che ho sempre detto. Qua la differenza che ho sempre detto, qua abbiamo un esempio di un Haaland e un Puskás, per esempio un Messi. Il giocatore più piccolo, più agile e veloce, il giocatore grande, più goffo e lento.
But also player height. So the smaller your player, the faster he'll be able to turn. I think this video comparison side by side is very clear. Now,
nel gioco, diciamo, nel gioco è abbastanza goffo. Per i miei standard.
Very high dribbling and is quite small. And the player on the right is kind of medium rated, but you can see clear differences in how fast and nimble the player is. So we really wanted to make sure that small players feel super
spiegano cose
agile,
che,
fast, responsive,
che la gente
and
sa,
have a value
che ripetono, sembrano come la Apple, che riportano le stesse cose spiegate in modo diverso.
And that's dynamic game speed.
Leggermente diverso.
Absolutely. It looks really, I guess, refined is a nice way to put it. And kind of, if you played the beta, you got a little bit of a feel to it. It takes some adjustment, but it is very rewarding when you get yourself into those really nice positions. So yeah, take us through the next part, Timo. What you've been working on, what you're excited to tell us about the community already. I'm seeing a lot of dubs in the chat, which is fantastic.
Mo ne parleremo.
Yes, before getting to the next section though, I just wanted to say two things. First, thank you for the beta feedback, because based on that feedback we did some more tuning and balancing, which is one of the main purposes of the beta, to kind of see what you guys think about it. So we believe that once you get into the beta, you'll feel even more responsive, quicker in that sense, like more explosive in the first couple of steps, but still maintains our vision for it. And the other thing is, it's also about attributes. So you've seen this a lot of like, hey, there's small players are faster, focus on explosiveness.
Ma qui è molto meno in realtà secondo me.
Gli attributi conteranno molto di più.
Carichi metà te la tira in culo. Sì, vabbè, basta che
la personalità del giocatore, gli attributi conteranno molto di più.
Che schifo, è diventato come PES. Sopportabile, dirà.
Virgil van Dijk force on defense, but he won't be good at shooting or.
Beh, se volete rimanere rimanete, altrimenti ve ne andate.
That all these attributes in the game have a more distinct impact.
È un po' brutale, ma è
Players
così.
have a specific role, which helps with team building and just being excited to get a certain player, and you'll feel that. So this is our true player personality. Yeah, you'll hear a bit more about the show throughout the show.
Ma rimango, sì, certo che rimango.
Bravo. Stay true to their real life counterparts. So, speaking of shooting,
Cantona non potrà più tirare le bombe da fuori area.
Almeno quello.
No, c'è il tiro caricato, stai calmo.
Roll the first clip.
Sì, ma ci mette 2 anni.
Qua parlano del tiro.
You can almost score from anywhere with anyone, but we kind of do two things. One is use a skill. And
Che tiro di merda!
wants to make sure rewarding great use a skill, but also
Prima potevi tirare e segnare con qualsiasi persona da qualsiasi posto. Ora invece conterà molto il posizionamento del giocatore, l'equilibrio, la potenza, la direzione, questo e quell'altro.
Pensa che è diventato gioco per console.
So let's roll on to the first clip.
Oddio, pure sulla console era così, che tu tiravi da qualsiasi posizione e segnavano.
Tiro di precisione.
You can see this wide line extended from the player. This actually represents your angle that you're aiming with the joystick. So if you have a great manual aim, as in this example, you can get the shot.
Cioè, per me non cambia un cazzo, secondo me. Cioè, fanno esempi
your chances of scoring will be decreased.
Cioè, sembra sempre tutto uguale.
Aiming off to the goal.
Per questo sotto la live gli spammavo i peggio insulti. La chance di segnare i gol adesso sarà molto più difficile.
Però sarà divertente. Ok, Raul dovrebbe avere un tiro di precisione abbastanza buono. Anche Mukoko. Mukoko, porco due, non vedo l'ora di avercelo, che sembra un bel bug.
Sì.
So we want to make sure that we reward you for
in a good position. E Mbappé in attacco diventano la porta che scotta. Sì, a parte che Mbappé non te lo puoi permettere all'inizio gioco proprio. Ma che ne sai? Magari è basso di prezzo e poi si alza, come Pirlo. Io prima dei toti non
magari lo scula, che ne sai? Magari lo sculi.
Io prima dei toti non puoi parlare d'altro, mannaggia a te Calif.
Dico, magari lo sculi, Ale. Che ne sai, Gali?
È quello che ho detto io. A parte non sta a parlare Rap, stavo a parlare io.
No, stava parlando pure Calif, quel maledetto bastardo.
Io Rap e pure Alessandra, stessa cosa, magari ti scuri.
Non l'ho sculato mai in questo anno, vediamo l'anno prossimo.
Qua fanno vedere il tiro al volo, com'era il tiro al volo prima, come sarà adesso.
Mamma mia, escono le peggio rovesciate adesso.
Questo è quello che mi succede sulla beta, che i tiri al volo ormai, boh, vanno tutti in cielo.
Però a me non mi viene a fare precisione, la faccia proprio.
Ah, comunque, zio, se sculi al prossimo film vuol dire che è proprio un gioco di merda. Capiremo che è un gioco di merda perché se sculi tu.
Porco due, con la sfiga che c'ho.
E poi se sculi inizi a sculare e dire che sì.
Qua spiegano la differenza tra un difensore e un attaccante quando saltano, che il difensore adesso creerà molti più problemi intrattenendo l'attaccante
un po' dietro, lo so come fanno.
E lo intrattiene.
Non verrà distrutto da un cantonapolo. No, andiamo alla pubblicità, no.
Non posso.
Nel senso, come sai fatto prima, no? Che chiudi un attimo.
Madonna, ma il 26 si resettano i server, io non vedo l'ora.
Si distruggono un paio di server. Quando ti vedo tutto.
To tears. But surely a storyteller so
conferma download. Che senso?
Right?
Che lo stai scaricando?
No, su FIFA normale.
Sì, c'è stato.
Oh, tira premio, pacchetto regalo.
Aspetta, zio, sei
oh,
ciao, bro.
Limer 115.
Ah, aspetta, ma sei entrato adesso?
Sì.
Dopo,
diciamo che io non sono entusiasta di questo nuovo gioco, perché è come se ripartono indietro per far vedere alla gente che hanno portato cose nuove piano piano. C'è una presa per culo più che altro.
Ma è incredibile.
Minchia, è un bel gioco, ragazzi.
Tipo l'Apple che riporta le stesse cose.
Dai, adesso faccio una partita.
Ma perché vi devo far vedere la partita? Faccio schifo.
Facciamoci. Confermo. Because it's all part of the emotion of scoring, right?
Vai, lo scambio per 100 punti club.
È molto soddisfacente questi tiri che sembreranno molto più realistici, ragazzi.
Impact when the ball hits the back of the net, and also you can see here a more refined ripple effect that just looks great. Like it's amazing. And also with cameras, so you can see these beautiful goals and net physics up close. And so with a more skill-based shooting system,
la palla quando rimbalza
better
saranno
goal
molto
net
più
physics,
realistici.
we really want to make sure that every time you score a goal in FC Mobile, it feels rewarding and satisfying. And I believe for the guys who play beta, you can attest to that. If you score a goal, it feels more satisfying than ever because it takes a little bit more effort, a little bit more
Ogni
skill.
volta che tirerai sarà molto
That's exactly
soddisfacente.
we're aiming for. So this is elite shooting.
Wow.
And even just to add to the goal net part.
Io sto a tradurre quello che dicono loro.
In the beta, there's that little noise of hitting the back of the net, the ripple, which is so satisfying, especially when you hit a nice shot. And really excited about that. And just wanted to mention seeing what people are writing in the chat. About crossing.
A me mi fa ridere quando ovviamente è questione di marketing. Come loro ne parlano entusiasti, recitano, come se portano il gioco a un altro nuovo livello, eccetera. Stai partendo indietro dai giocatori più lenti, il nuovo gioco di qua di là e lo porterai come è adesso, diciamo.
There's a new control coming into FC Mobile under impact controls, and that is the power shot. And when we talk about satisfying goals, power shot is right up there, right, Timo? It feels good.
It's amazing. It's by far my favorite feature of this update, and so exciting. We're bringing power shots to FC Mobile. These are just such beautiful animations that really, you know, as a football fan, like personally in real life, I always play like forward. I'm not saying I look like that. I think I look like that. Probably not, but it feels so rewarding to score these power shots because they're the fastest and most powerful shot in the game, right? And when you really hit it right and you
sì, le meccaniche prima o poi
and it complements elite shooting. So
l'hanno reso più lento per farlo sembrare più macchinoso.
Compared to the current live game.
Però secondo me così persone che non hanno un telefono abbastanza fluido con meno FPS si troveranno molto avranno molto più problemi.
Medium to long range. So let's move on to the next clip. So because power shots are so powerful and fast, you can still see here that the animation length is actually longer, right? So in fact, a power shot has a 3 times longer shot animation than a regular shot. So what does this mean? This puts you at the risk of being tackled, as you just saw. So the risk versus reward mechanic of a power shot is simple. You get the best and most powerful shot in the game, but it takes longer. So you need to be careful when and how to use it. Like in this example, I'm dribbling, the defender is very close, probably shouldn't have used a power shot. So use it with a caution, and when you have a bit of space, bit of time.
Allora, puoi avere I tiri più potenti.
Now let's move on to the next
più potenti e effettivi, ma
so power shots follow the same principles of elite shooting. So attempting shots from a good context, right, and a good angle to goal, and having good aim also helps absolutely. And the other thing is power management. Yeah. So this means if you attempt a power shot with like a 30 to 50% power, this is the ideal sweet spot for a power shot. But if you attempt a power shot from a much higher power, so like, you know, when your power bar goes orange or red,
qua parlano che se fai un power shot al 100% la palla andrà fuori. Qua quindi devi imparare a controllare la potenza e il tiro.
He'll still be able to keep the power shots down in like higher power ranges, but we generally suggest try to keep the power shot between 30 to 50% to see the highest success rate.
No, ancora non hai visto niente. Qua siamo ancora all'inizio di questo
Now,
bel
gioco
entusiasmante e brillante.
And also for gestures, there's a gesture control. And for gestures, we call it internally, we call it the slingshot. So you swipe back and forth in one motion towards the goal for the gesture control. So you can do it both with buttons and gestures.
It is very satisfying when you hit a nice slingshot. I know I did a few of those in the beta. And when you get into space and you really notice that, like, okay, I'm with my midfielder and I've got open space, I can just launch a long shot with power shot, and you get the right amount of power and you see it go top corner. It is probably the most satisfying goal I've scored in any mobile game. So very excited about that. And it kind of segues a little bit into our next topic when we talk about space.
Qua faccio i gol e nemmeno ci penso. Lì che cazzo mi devo segare su un gol.
That's what the knock-on impact control is about. It's about utilizing that space, Timo, right? And getting yourself into dangerous positions.
That's correct. And, you know, the power shot just complemented elite shooting. Well, the knock-on complements our dynamic game speed. So this is a very traditional control, and we never really had it on mobile before, so I'm excited to bring it, and it was the perfect time to introduce it. So the knock-on allows you, obviously, to you know, extract that full potential of your player's acceleration attribute while dribbling, and it allows you just to break away from defenders, create space wherever, like if you get a through pass into space and you want to break away, you just want to push the ball forward, like you play like Mbappe, you know, like just having that explosive touch, then you can do that now. So if we roll to the next clip, the best way you can do it, like as I just said, you get a pass into space and you just want to break away from that defender, and you can push with the knock-on just to create an extra bit of space. Now you can do that. Also, if we roll to the next clip, you're going to see my preferred way of using the knock-on, which is a setup touch into a shot. So you can do a knock-on and then key up a shot, and I tell you what, the best combo is knock-on to power shot. Now that looks really good, so I highly recommend trying it. And as you can see, a kind of parallel to the box knock on into the shot. Very, very satisfying. Yeah, and one more video we have that shows you the way you can use the knock on. It's just beating one defender. You're facing him head on. You can just try to beat him with a quick knock. Now, we should note here.
Quando Galif fa finta, sei tu?
For the people that played a bit, they know this already. Knock on is a team skill move, and we did this because we tried many different prototypes throughout production, and some of them felt really good, tackle sprinters, things like that, but they conflicted too much with other existing controls.
Sei tu, lo vedo.
Felt good, but also allows you, the user, to customize whichever way you like. So you can, by default, by the way, the knock-on is swiping down from the sprint and skill button. But you can customize it any of the 4 directions you like. And also, we added the hard stop, which is the exact opposite of a knock-on. It allows you to a sudden stop. So now with hard stop, knock-on, dynamic game speed, you can control the player's speed like never before, and just, again, diversify the way you build up, the way you take on one-on-ones and open up the game. And I'm excited, really excited to finally have it. So that's the knock-on.
Same, and it's really
Alessio,
fun when you get to the fast player, like a Vinny or an Mbappe, as you mentioned. But we talk all the time here about the shooting, dribbling, kind of more attacking focused controls and improvements. But you can't forget about the defensive side of the ball, and that's why there's hard tackles, which is the third of the
manderebbe in prigione.
Timo, tell us a little bit about how this balances both sides of the field.
Yes, absolutely, Antoine, and it's always important to extend.
Torniamo a parlare dei nostri bellissimi gol.
Controls. We had so many cool things on offense, but hey, let's not forget about defending. And the hard tackle not only is a great way to defend in general, but it's also a great countermeasure to power shots, right? So you can see a hard tackle is basically...
The greatest storyteller always had the perfect story whenever you needed to hear it. There were adventures that could stir the weariest soul, or even move you to tears. But surely a storyteller so great must be just another story, right? The greatest storyteller always had the perfect story whenever you needed to hear it. There were adventures that could stir the weariest soul, or even move you to tears. But surely a storyteller so great must be just another story, right?
More powerful version of a stand tackle, and it's perfect for blocking shots or taking out a player. In fact, we've added tons of new fall animations, so what I like to do is just crush a defender, and then the opponent player just falls over with a cool new fall animation. Very satisfying. So let's move on to the next clip, actually.
Hanno aggiunto
here
tantissimi nuovi stili di fallo, eccetera, eccetera. Molto soddisfacente, ragazzi. Tutto molto soddisfacente.
Powerful and faster, far-reaching hard tackles, and they can come in with so much force, taking out the player, and it's really satisfying. But just like Power Shot, just be mindful and careful when to use it, right? Because you are committing to a long animation. So it takes maybe a little bit of practice. Trust me, once you start knocking down people with the first couple of hard tackles, you're gonna love it. So let's move on to the next clip, which is also showing another way you can utilize the hard tackle, which is blocks. Whether that's cross, whether that's the power shot, as I mentioned before, it's a perfect way just to slide in there in the last second. Because you're covering so much ground, and in the beta, I had a moment where my player was on a breakaway, and in the last second, literally, I slid in kind of from behind with a hard tackle and got my foot on the ball, and it was immensely satisfying. And we're just expanding our range of controls and ways to defend. That's the hard tackle.
Yeah, it's going to be satisfying on a last-ditch hard tackle when you know you save a goal, and it doesn't happen too often where you can celebrate those defensive wins, but I'm looking forward to pulling off a few of those in FC Mobile.
Awesome.
But,
Yeah, it's really satisfying. Like when we put it in, we also made sure that hard tackles generally, even for lower rated players, are still quite fast and responsive. So give it a try. Takes some getting used to, but again, it's also expanding
È
the
molto
ways you can
soddisfacente
defend
quando
and
abbiamo
separating the
implementato
best
questo
players
nuovo
at the very
giocamento,
top
questo
of the
nuovo
net.
gioco. Tutto molto soddisfacente.
Exactly. It's going to come down to timing, obviously attributes of your players, but user skill. I just noticed playing in the beta was tough to pull off, but once you do pull it off, you kind of feel rewarded. So I think users will enjoy that. I can see some people already in the chat are mentioning different ways maybe they were going to use it, or at least seeing a few dubs in the chat, so that's always nice to see. But we do have a few more things as well on the gameplay side. It's not related to controls. This is going to be the new
spammate in
camera
chat,
angle.
so I think we can pull up
our new camera angle here up on screen if we want to see it, and it's a lot more open. You can see a lot more on the pitch, a lot more flexibility with how you can tap if you're using gestures,
Ci
or
sarà
even
un
just
nuovo
setting up
stile di
long passes
camera.
across the field.
That's right. Now, with fcmobile, we're not only taking the gameplay
Una
to the next
telecamera
level, but
più
also our
aperta,
visuals. You know, whether
più
it's
campo
locker
visivo
room
sul
and all these
campo.
things, like
Cose
the
che
fans,
io con la
crowd,
telecamera 4
across
già
the
lo
game.
facevo.
So with gameplay, we want to do the same thing. And I'm very excited for this, and it's the first time personally for myself working on cameras, and it was such a great experience. And the first one is the new gameplay camera. You can see here it's camera number 5.
Perché vogliono prendere
You
per
still have
culo la
all the old
gente, non
cameras from
capisco
the
io.
previous seasons. But this is the new one. It's going to be on by default because it gives you that fresh new look. It looks modern, it looks broadcast, and also what you can see here, you can see in the far distance the crowd and the stands, and you can see that we actually have much bigger and more banners, more flags, so you now really feel the immersiveness of the stadium and the
tutto molto
crowd.
moderno.
And because the camera is lower, it's also very gesture friendly. So if you're on the right side of the wing here, you can almost see perfectly across the field, easily making a gesture
Molti
pass to switch
loghi,
to side of play.
molte
So for me personally, I can't go back
bandiere.
to the old cameras. It just looks so modern and great, and it's just satisfying to play in this camera. So let's move on to the next section, which is set pieces. So we refreshed all of our set piece cameras.
Tutto così
Now, this
moderno,
breaks down into
tutto
kind of
così
two areas. The
figo.
first one is like the hero moment. So hero moment is like a penalty kick or a free kick. So here we're looking at the penalty kick, and you can see that the camera is much, much lower, much closer to the player. And really what we wanted to achieve is put you in the
Momento
shoes of
hero.
the kick taker. So you feel that
Il rigore sarà il momento dell'eroe.
with the goalkeeper, the pressure that you feel. You also now see more of the crowd in the background, so the flags are waving and you're in that moment. It feels really immersive, and that's what we wanted to achieve. We also added a bunch of new idle animations, actually, some star specific, so keep an eye out when you play the game and you have some star
le
players.
bandiere
Maybe
quando,
you'll see some unique idle
quando
animations
stai per
as the
battere
player's about
un
to.
rigore, le bandiere
Let's move on to the next one,
ondeggeranno,
which
sarà
is
tutto
the
così
direct free
realistico,
kick.
molto soddisfacente. Molto
Also, we lowered the camera here, closer to the player, and as you can see,
Tutto
the
molto
player wall
soddisfacente.
is blocking more of the view of the goal. And this is intentional. We want to make the wall a bit more intimidating, a bit more of an obstacle, and put you into that moment.
Qua hanno abbassato-
Free kick. As you do in real life, you kind of have that challenge in
Qua
front
hanno
of you. So when
abbassato
you
la
score,
fotocamera, la
a free kick,
telecamera,
it
così
feels
sarà un po' più
satisfying.
realistico.
And I do want to take the moment right here.
Tirare
which
le
is very,
punizioni
very
sarà
important
più
to mention.
difficile.
Elite shooting expands to penalty kicks and free kicks as well. So we know that in the current game, it's very easy to score penalty kicks and free kicks, but now there will be a much bigger attribute effect, such as how much curl you can apply in a free kick, how fast the kicks are. And I think for the guys who played the beta, they know penalty kicks are not like 100% chance scoring anymore. Like you have to be careful, you need to, carefully swipe. It's also based on attributes, how fast you swipe, where you swipe in the goal, so you actually feel the pressure of a penalty kick. And it's, again, both of these things lead to one thing: skill and satisfaction when scoring. Like, wow, I scored this free kick, and the camera really supports that immersion as well. So let's move on to the next clip. Oh, I should say image, which is our deep free kick or wide free kick. So in the current game, when you get into a deep free kick, the camera is quite narrow. It's really hard to see your teammates, and it's hard to make a pass. So you can see now, it's much more zoomed out. So these are more like tactical set pieces now, right? You can see the full width and length of the field. And also, we significantly improved the camera panning function. So these little arrows on the left and right are much more responsive now and faster when kind of rotating the camera, so you can quickly pick your teammate of choice. Let's move to the next image, which is
Sono molto più responsabili.
See, you're returning to a more traditional camera but we want to keep it gesture friendly, so the camera is still quite elevated, so you're kind of looking down on the pitch, so it feels easy to make the gesture pass exactly where you want to tap and pass. But now it still puts you in the kick taker kind of view, which feels immersive. Again, you can see like the other side of the pitch, the banners, the crowd. It really adds again to the atmosphere and experience. And also, I want to mention that if you look at the top of the screen there, right left to the mentality bar, you see this like camera button in white, and this allows you to toggle between gameplay camera and set piece camera. So in a sense, some people might want to go back to a traditional gameplay camera, so we want to give you the choice. And what's cool, the game will remember per set piece which camera you prefer. So for example, corner kicks, you can stay in immersive camera, but maybe in deep free kicks you want to stay in gameplay camera. It allows you to do that. So let's move on to the last one, which is the goal kick. Now the goal kick also has undergone some changes. It looks a lot more like our console Big Brother, more immersive. You see more of the stadium as well, the architecture, and it's really easy. You don't really have to pan the camera. You easily pick your pass wherever you want to. And
hanno cambiato l'interfaccia del rilancio.
So yeah, these are awesome new cameras that help
con la
bring
visuale
immersion to gameplay.
Yeah, those are all very refreshing changes, I think, to the way that matches are played, head-to-head is played. I think it just makes it there's more options for players to choose different camera angles. And then I just know personally scoring a free kick is a lot more fun. And I noticed in the chat some people are bringing up as penalties. If you played the beta, you notice penalties are not guaranteed, and I think that's a welcome change for a lot of people. So in the chat, let me know if you missed any penalties in the beta, or how good you were at penalties, because I know I missed a few. I swiped my first few ones way over the net, and it took me a little bit of adjusting, but once you get the hang of it, Timo, right, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and just like in real life, let's say you're attempting to shoot top corner. Like, you're attempting it. You're stepping up to the plate, and you're like, I'm going to do it. Maybe you're going to miss. I'm not sure how good you are, but it's a high risk. You're trying to put it in the top corner. But if you shoot it low in the center, high chance of scoring, and that's what we wanted to represent. You're taking a risk. Of course, the higher the attribute of a player, the more chance you'll have to keep it on target, but it's not guaranteed. So a lot of things like how fast you swipe, where you swipe, your player, all these things factor in. But isn't it a great feeling when you actually score a penalty, or maybe I think I swiped too fast, but it still goes and you're like, oh my god, yes, satisfying. Like, it's just that moment that we wanted, and it's just like that in real life. Taking a penalty shot,
sarà molto decisivo quanto veloce fai lo swipe del giocatore,
and also I'm sure many
tiro,
people saw it. And if you haven't played the beta, one cool little thing is we added the move goalkeeper function in. So for the goalkeeper in penalty kicks, you can now move your keeper side to side. So it's a bit of a mind game, and you can better.
Hanno cambiato che i portieri adesso si potranno muovere meglio.
Quello che stava a dire, da più avanti di Firmino un altro po', offensivo, guarda, non l'ho messo della prima punta.
Who says you can't be online the day you move in? This is Home Broadway, made for movies.
We're not going to get to where we need to get to until we, as a team, start defending together. We have to protect this house. Protect this house. Protect this house. Protect this house. Protect this. Protect this house. This here is our house.
So it just adds to the experience of penalty kicks.
Totally agreed. I know it was funny going back to the current game after playing the beta and playing some head-to-head, and I conceded a penalty, and in my head I was like, okay, I've a chance, and then I realized I was like, oh, I'm back in here. I can't save him. So I think it'll be a nice wrinkle into just playing head-to-head, and if you've got a penalty in like the 90th minute and you're stepping up, and you know it's not a guarantee. You actually have to keep your cool, and I love that. It's a nice addition. It's going to really make competitive gameplay feel a lot more competitive.
Yeah, and I'm sure people will move the keeper side to side, you know, and like
yeah,
put
they
that
have
pressure.
to.
Where you're gonna shoot, like it's that mind game, and that's exactly what I want. And you know, like it's just a joystick. It's such a small feature, but the impact is quite large in that moment. So excited we have it for sure.
Totally agree. So we have a few more
joystick
notes to get through here. I know at the start of the gameplay segment, a lot of people were asking about skill moves and skill move balancing. I know a lot of people right now in the game, lane change tends to be brought up a lot. Heel to heel at one point was kind of the go-to. So I know chat, if you guys are still here, is saying that there's been a few changes, some balancing, right, to skill moves. Timo, if you want to kind of walk us through what that'll mean on the new season.
Yes. So we know that skill moves are fun. We get it. But at the same time, as you saw throughout the show, we're putting a lot more emphasis on user skill, separating, you know, the best players at the top, and skill moves are fun. So what we did is some balance. So first of all, we adjusted the skill move speed based on a dynamic game speed. So they're kind of within line of the whole game speed itself. And the main change I would say that we did is to balance consecutive skill moves. So if you do your first skill move, it's still going to be quite effective, of course based on attributes such as agility, ball control, right? But if you're attempting multiple skill moves in a row, like chaining them basically, one after the other, that will be not as effective. So we made an emphasis to discourage users from doing that. You can do one skill move, but we also wanted to diversify the build-up play. Different ways to score. Use more passing. Use different ways,
Prima
right?
spammare le
So,
skill
use your regular
era
dribble.
molto semplice, ora
so
spammare le
skill
skill non sarà
still
così
effective in
molto
some regard. We
efficace.
feel like it's well balanced. We did a lot of testing internally, externally, in the beta, got the feedback. Of course, guys, please give us your feedback once we go live. Which skill moves still feel overpowered? Where do we need to do some balancing? Because I'm going to tell you guys, we've done a lot of testing. We feel very confident, but there might be some moves or some combos that still feel powerful. We want to hear that, and we have so much focus and dedication to balancing the game over the next couple of months once we launch. So please let us know. But yeah, skill moves definitely more balanced and encouraging, not to change. Hopefully that summarizes it well.
Exactly. I think a lot of people love using skill moves, and a well-placed skill move is always going to be a great part of build-up play. It's just when you, as you said, chaining like 5 lane changes back is, I think, what community has kind of brought up a lot. So that's great to hear. I'm looking forward to jumping in on day one, and I know everyone else in the chat is as well, and seeing how that works. Another one as well we saw in the chat come up often is around crossing, like goals from crossing. How will I defend them? Will my players jump? How is that looking for the new season?
Yes. Again, thank you for the feedback. There were some issues. We are aware of the cross spam that people abused in some ways, potentially even in head-to-head, and it kind of built a very one-dimensional gameplay. People just going down the wing and crossing, and well, we've improved it. So we've done a few things. First of all, there was an issue where players wouldn't jump during a two-player head-up battle. And that's very frustrating. You understand, like you're a defender, you're pressing the clear button, the play doesn't jump, you get scored on. So we fixed that issue where the player doesn't jump. So that's taken care of. The next one is we improved the crossing situation. So just like shooting, passing will also see more effect on attributes. So if you attempt a cross under difficult circumstances, such as, let's say, you're sprinting down the wing, the defender's behind you, push-pulling you, and you do like a 90-degree cross inside the box, not going to be that accurate. So you see this with like the accuracy won't be as good, or the height will be lower, like you kind of not be as accurate basically in crossing. So again, we encourage you, put your player in a good position to cross, it will be more accurate. And as I mentioned before, with elite shooting, the headers also undergo that. So headers are not super fast anymore, and the attribute plays a bigger role, and your player positioning. So we feel it's quite balanced. Again, we want to hear the feedback. It's very important to us, but we feel it's significantly improved compared to the live game.
That's great to hear. I know as well, seeing in the comments, a lot of people are bringing up goalkeeper performance in the new season. if you had some notes on that, you could share, because that seemed to be a pretty common topic here. Just going through chat, people want to know what are goalies up to.
Absolutely. So we first of all we completely rebalanced the keeper in regards to elite shooting. So goalkeepers play a very important role now, of course, but also for crosses. So we had cases where a cross would come in really close to the keeper. He would just stand there waiting, and we've improved the situation.
I portieri adesso saranno molto importanti, avranno un ruolo molto importante.
Keepers will be more
adesso.
active, trying to intercept air balls like crosses and those things, and go for it to intercept it.
Abbiamo cambiato la
That's
situazione
and that would also
dei,
apply
dei
to corner
portieri, del
kicks,
ruolo dei portieri in
with a
questo
goalie
gioco.
coming out on a corner, being able to come in and maybe punch the ball, grab the ball. I know people have been mentioning that, so that's great to hear.
Absolutely, yes. We want to make sure that's kind of part of the whole crossing balancing. So it's the cross, it's the headers, it's the defensive side of things, how you can affect the player, as I showed earlier before with the two-player header error, and the goalkeeper as well, just to be more active, get off the line, and go for those very obvious balls that are really close to him. We still have to make sure, though, the keeper is not too aggressive, because if he goes out and rushes and he can't get the ball, that's not something he wants to do. So we'll go for, he's more aggressive, but within line, I would say.
Makes sense.
I portieri
And I'm
saranno
seeing a
molto
few
più
people as well
intuitivi,
just in
quindi
chat. We do have a bit of time for some
usciranno
questions.
nel momento più
Are asking
opportuni,
about the
saranno
height
più
of a goalie. That one
più
seemed to
efficaci
been
rispetto a
coming up a
prima.
bit here. Timo, if you have some info on what that looks like.
Yeah, the height of a keeper can play a role,
Dalla chat
but
sentiamo
generally
di parlare
speaking, that's
dell'altezza
not a
di un
factor that we
portiere.
wanted to really, make. Like, for example, take a player like Casillas, right? He's not the tallest player. Like if you compare Casillas to Courtois, for example, right? Those are, but Casillas is one of the best keepers ever, and that's also reflected in fcmobile. So height can, in certain ways, in certain situations, maybe help you, but generally the smaller keepers are more agile and faster, right? To
Poi
get off,
parliamo di
but height is
Casillas
not
e
as
Courtois.
influential as
Casillas è uno dei migliori portieri
That makes
di
sense.
sempre. Sì,
I know that
pieno da
Campos,
certo.
I think, is one of the shorter goalkeepers in the game. I want to say he's 5'8", 5'9". Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. So that'll be interesting to test him out whenever he comes out in the new season. We do have some room here as well, chat, for a couple questions for Timo directly from the chat. Obviously, things that we can answer and speak to. So if you have anything that you want to ask the gameplay producer, the guy on the show here, drop it into chat. I'm also looking through Discord at the same time here. Because we...
And sorry if I went too fast. I tend to speak too fast. So if there was something I mentioned through the show, people like, what was he talking about? I can reiterate. I would gladly do that. And again, I just want to say I'm really proud of our team. We pushed really, really hard this year, and just excited to bring it to you guys. So I'm sure the first couple of months we'll go through maybe some balancing, some bug fixes still. And by the way, we've done tons of bug fixes as well, like legacy issues. And one thing I want to mention here is we really improved switching. I know there was some issues, like with the loose ball switch. So let's say you take a shot, right, and we should switch you to a teammate who's closer to the ball. We've improved that. Airball switching, like which player will be selected in those situations. So we've done tons and tons of improvements, as well as the attacking state. Like you're on the wrong state. You want to be on defensive state, but you're still on attacking state. So we've done tons of improvements. Switching is complex though. It's hard to say for me, we fixed it. I think we improved it really well. If you find any cases where there's bad switching, send it our way. Post it somewhere. Discord, Reddit. We'll see.
Yeah. I know just over the past couple of years, the switching's really improved.
Candy Crush.
Making it feel a lot more responsive. And I know when I play head-to-head, I'm kind of switching by tapping on a lot of players as well, and I really like how quickly it responds to my tap in the direction.
Candy Crush.
So you can kind of switch off ball and have a second player come in to pressure while you're keeping tabs on another attacker. So I know guys who are playing at the highest level, that's an important part of their defending skills.
War is inevitable. One must destroy in order to create.
Something's coming. I sense it.
We are no Jedi.
Ahsoka original series now streaming on
Mi fa
Disney Plus.
piacere, quello sarà il mio modulo definitivo.
Chat as well. I'm seeing a lot of questions here, chat, about the market, player stats. Those are all things that aren't exactly gameplay related, so can't really delve into those yet. But I'll leave a little bit more time at the end of the show here if you have like non-gameplay questions. But yeah, otherwise just seeing a lot of like regular like game related questions. I think there was one here. Let me just check. I'm just going was a decent one here. That was coming up. Someone is asking about corners. We did mention that. Around.
Also want to say that corner kicks are not 100% accurate. We also added a bit more error based on attribute for corner kick crosses. You will, of course, just in real life, you're trying to cross exactly to that point, but there's a bit of variance based on attribute as well.
Cosimo di Mola, ciao Raf, che stai facendo?
So it really
Niente, sto qui chillando con I miei amici.
You can't just go in there, and you want to be using the Trent Alexander-Arnolds of the world, the De Bruyne's, the guys who can really whip it in.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to mention is in terms of cameras, we talked about scoring amazing goals with like power shots, or just satisfying goals with any shot type. We also significantly improved our replay cameras. You probably noticed that a little bit throughout the beta. We've done more polishing and tuning on that. So you'll see throughout the game, but I do encourage you, if you play head-to-head and you score some nice goals, go into those post-match replays, and that's going to be like a nice 3-camera kind of reel of that goal, and there's going to be some nice effects and just cool angles. So check it out, and hopefully you'll share it on social media, in the forums. I think it's going to be, again, adding to that satisfying moment of scoring goals. It's going to be pretty special.
Agreed. And I see one as well that I think was mentioned was around the halftime and full-time referees calling the play. I think there's been a little bit of adjustments there to be a little more reflective of where play is headed.
Yes, so that's something we'll continue to improve. We already made improvements. We will continue to do that post-launch, but we have improved the end-of-half logic to blow the whistle at a situation. But we'll continue to
Zero spaccato.
That's great, yeah. And I saw a few people here as well. That kind of ties into our last little bit of the segment, which is celebrations, right, Timo? Everybody loves celebrations. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we want to stay up to date and stay with the trends. So we've added tons of new star-specific animations. Now, I don't want to share exactly who and how many, but we added quite a few. And I will say that Haaland not just has one, but multiple celebrations. So you'll see him throughout the year having some new celebrations. And very excited.
That's exciting. I know that it's always fun when you see a celebration pop up that you haven't seen before. I know there's some guys who could use some refreshed celebrations, so I'm sure community will appreciate it, and it'll be kind of fun when they pop up in game.
Yes, and listen, we're going to continue to push. We're going to continue to push with content in terms of celebrations, hopefully new skills throughout the season. So these are things we feel very passionate about, just like you guys.
Noi ragazzi ascolteremo sempre i vostri feedback e continueremo a pushare a migliorare questo cazzo di gioco.
Building on a strong foundation,
caga sburrare in testa
putting a lot more into this franchise. And again, I've been doing this for 10 years, guys. 10 years.
Per cagare in testa a quelli di PES, chiamati anche cosiddetti e football.
So exciting. So the future looks very bright.
That's right. That's a great way to kind of put a bow on it there, Timo. Very, very exciting, at least for the new season and what's to come. I know we're all going to be waiting to see what you and your team are sharing with the players. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Timo. It was great. So much valuable info, and very much appreciated.
Awesome. Thank you again. It's been a real pleasure. I know I've been here before.
Grazie mille, Domi, Gali, di essere venuti qui in questa live, di averci dato il tuo contributo. Noi apprezziamo, è molto soddisfacente questo supporto, questa presenza.
And also there's going to be a deep dive coming up with some more details, and we have more cool stuff to come throughout the year. I have to kind of bite my lip here, not to spoil anything, but yeah, exciting times.
Hanno
Thank
detto
you so
all'inizio
much,
della live
everyone.
che sta male.
Please enjoy
Tac
this launch
sta
next
male
week. Let us know
purtroppo.
your thoughts and
Ovvero Claudio,
see you next time.
detto il burger,
Okay, thanks Timo, take care.
sta male.
So that was Timo going through gameplay. What did we think, chat? A lot to digest there. As mentioned, there will be a deep dive coming out shortly with more information on everything we went through, as well as even some extra details we weren't able to cover. Overall, though, it's a lot coming to gameplay. It's going to feel very different, I think, on day one. So I'm looking forward to it. If you played the beta, you kind of have an expectation of how it's going to feel and some of the new controls. So, overall, dubs in the chat, I agree. It's very good to see. So we're kind of getting close to that time of the show where chat tries to guess what is the giveaway.
Poi queste cose che danno a fine live sono vere oppure cagate?
If you guys want to take a little shot here at the keyword before I unveil, we're going to be doing
ok ragazzi, qua non ci sarà giveaway, io sono povero come la merda, quindi ci vediamo alla prossima live.
We'll make sure to grant those in time for the new season rollover, so you will have them in FC Mobile as well.
Vi ricordo anzi di iscrivervi al canale.
So let's see if I see anyone with the right keyword here. It's related to gameplay. Let's see if you can guess it.
Vi svegliate
Seen a
eleganti,
couple
sì.
ones, nothing
Eleganti,
really close. Think of
vabbè.
one of the impact controls. Oh, someone got it. Someone got it. It's hashtag power shot is what we're going with for the keyword. So drop that in the chat.
Anzi,
if you
ma
want to be
potevamo farci due partite.
Giveaway. We're going to be doing 5 giveaways, so 5 winners here.
Non l'ho
will get
chiusa
their
la
choice
live
of
ancora.
Bellingham or Holland. 120 OVR, untradeable pioneer
giochiamo,
players that
dai,
will
entra.
carry over into the new season. So, quite
Sì,
a
sì, dai,
valuable.
entra.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Entra.
Perché sto facendo porta un po' di domande, quindi sai già come devi fare. Prime due.
Sì, le prime due te le faccio vincere. Le prime due te le faccio vincere, poi comeback.
Vabbè, le prime due le fai vincere, vinci la terza e vinco comunque io.
Sì, dai, entra. Invita.
Invito io. Oddio, non ti vedo. Non ti vedo, Raf.
Manco io.
Ah, questi pulsanti per tagliarla. Fai la prova, Raf. Fatto tutto, mi dici ora. Fai la prova, Raf.
Ultimamente non lo faccio molto. Che sono svegliato con raffreddore. Il prossimo FIFA free to play.
Serio?
Free to pay. Paga quanto puoi.
Free to gay, si gay quanto vuoi. Content, mi raccomando, un po' di content.
Vediamo.
Condizioni meteo favorevoli per giocare. Oggi c'è un bel
Dove mi stai
sole,
guardando?
gioca in condizioni perfette, lo spettacolo dovrebbe avere un beneficio.
Sul televisore.
Nuovamente con voi per raccontarvi le emozioni di questa sfida. Non cambiate canale. Incontro con molti spunti interessanti.
Vabbè, le giacche appese.
E non oso immaginare come sia la situazione.
Dai, fammi vincere, su.
Di sicuro, però, stiamo per assistere a una partita
Frame lag.
entusiasmante e ricca di emozioni. Da non perdere. Roberto Firmino. Firmino tutto solo. Aveva solo il portiere da battere, sembrava una formalità.
I ragazzi stanno qua in partita, chi è?
Una parata destinata a finire dritta negli highlight del match Pier. Indipendentemente dal...
Attenzione perché questa
Non tira.
frame
Frame lag.
vantaggio. Si riparte con il calcio di punizione per gli azzurri. Occhio alla palla gol.
No.
Sì. La partita è arrivato subito.
La regia si propone qui l'azione del gol. Tutto è nato da questo cross calibrato e perfetto. Il portiere non ha davvero potuto nulla su questa girata di testa.
Hanno aperto le marcature con questo gol. 1-0. Prosegue spedito ancora. L'arbitro fa segno di proseguire, vantaggio per gli azzurri.
Dammi sta palla, su.
Ferma tutto il difensore, bravissimo qui. Grande intervento del portiere. Palla che rimane ancora lì, pericolo. Intercetta, attenzione da lì. Decisivo qui il tackle. Honninson.
Danny ha scritto: ma quanto sei bello. Quanto il mio pisello.
Passaggio intercettato, palla recuperata.
Franci, io ti sto dai i palloni per far content, però.
Attacca l'Italia. Attenzione! Ottimo tutto del portiere. La spazza via. Dembélé. Cristiano Ronaldo. C'è il tiro di Ronaldo.
Porco te la spacco qua la porta.
È entrato bene qui con decisione. Honninson. Roberto Firmino. L'arbitro non interrompe, c'è norma del vantaggio.
Non ha passato.
Tackle efficace qui. Ancora 300 secondi da giocare, una vita. Dembélé. Ha rischiato il rigore, respinge il
non ci credo.
La allontana.
Oddio, che culo.
Tempo, squadre che rientrano velocemente negli spogliatoi. Comincia il secondo tempo con l'Italia avanti di una rete. Baraglia campo.
Proviamo a crossare, dai. Tanto in live.
James Madison. Palla che viene
Grazie del pallone.
Possesso per gli azzurri. Difesa protagonista, qui recupera la palla. Applica il vantaggio qui l'arbitro, pallone che resta all'Italia. Va via il proprio marcatore. Hanno l'occasione, attenzione per trovare il gol.
Che tiri? Ti do la palla gratis e tu mi devi.
Bene provarci da quella distanza. Perché non deve calciare in porta?
Oh Dio.
E possiamo rivedere il gol da queste immagini, da sottolineare la bellezza del cross. Un'incornata che non ha lasciato scampo al portiere.
Siamo di nuovo in parità, grazie al gol del Nuovo. Prosegue l'avanzata, attacco che sfuma, merito del buon lavoro difensivo. Roberto Firmino. Buono il recupero di Koulibaly. Occhio alla palla gol.
Oh, attenzione.
Seconda rete per lui quest'oggi in grande giornata.
Non ha perso la calma nonostante il pressing avversario.
Troppo forte, ragazzi.
Metterlo alle spalle del portiere. Gol che merita di essere rivisto.
Hanno trovato il gol del vantaggio quando non manca molto al termine, potrebbe rivelarsi decisivo. Il filtro perfetto, ferma l'azione avversaria. Non può sbagliare. Intervento provvidenziale.
Che cazzo sta succedendo? Non ci credo.
Mancano 10 minuti alla fine della gara. Non riescono a tenere. Minuto 85, stanno amministrando il vantaggio, ma ovviamente possono. Un muro qui ferma l'avanzata avversaria e recupera il pallone. Finisce la gara, epilogo amaro per l'Italia che esce sconfitta.
Dai, gioca.
Masticano amaro per questa sconfitta di misura ed effettivamente il pareggio sembrava il risultato più giusto, per quanto si è visto in campo oggi.
9 di import. Aspetta. Ti invito io, ma. Nulla. T'ho invitato. Ho visto.
Siamo in Italia ed è ovviamente grande l'atmosfera per
Quello lo
questo
faccio
match che sta per
per
cominciare. Qui è Pierluigi Parda,
sempre, non cambia un cazzo.
Come sempre c'è Lele Dani per questa sfida che può regalare grandi emozioni. Sono gare speciali in grado di regalare sempre emozioni uniche, come la tradizione.
C'è tensione nell'aria e non oso immaginare come sia la situazione in campo, Pier. Di sicuro, però, stiamo per assistere a una partita entusiasmante e ricca di emozioni, da non perdere.
Attenzione al CR7. Palla buona per CR7. 1-0. Hanno trovato presto il gol del vantaggio.
Mi chiama 20 fps. Grazie al cazzo il lag.
Che ha portato al gol. Perché ha puntato la porta e ha mantenuto la freddezza necessaria per battere il portiere al termine davvero di una lunga cavalcata.
Hanno aperto le marcature con questo gol. 1-0. Capisce tutto e intercetta bene il passaggio. Dembélé. Attenzione Dembélé. Palla toccata in out. Sarà calcio.
Non so perché manco, perché mi ho fatto la bicicletta. Godo.
Degli azzurri. +2 per l'Italia.
Manco so perché ha fatto la bicicletta.
Replay meritato per questo gol.
Manco so perché ha fatto la bicicletta.
Una conclusione potente che si è infilata alle spalle del portiere. Non poteva fare molto da quella distanza.
Punteggio che è cambiato, ora conducono per 2-0. Perde palla. Interviene sul pallone, lo fa suo. Pallone gestito da Gerrard. I compagni si fanno vedere. Firmino tutto solo. Volo plastico del portiere. Ha provato a spazzare ma non è finita. Brutta entrata, qui può arrivare un provvedimento disciplinare.
Che minchia fai? Io sta giocando a SmackDown.
CR7. Perde palla Ronaldo.
Sì.
Ecco Firmino. Occasione per accorciare le distanze, attenzione. E la riaprono con questo gol.
Questo replay del gol.
Nulla, ho esultato.
La coordinazione con cui ha impattato la palla.
Ho esultato.
Punteggio cambiato, ora siamo sul risultato di 2-1.
Che cazzo?
Può contare sull'aiuto dei compagni.
Nulla. Esultato.
A metri per avanzare. Firmino ed è gol. Hanno reagito, erano sotto di 2 reti e hanno trovato la parità.
Un gol questo che potrebbe cambiare il volto alla partita nella ripresa, perché questo pareggio giunto al tramonto della prima frazione può lasciare anche degli strascichi sull'equilibrio del match.
Hanno pareggiato al termine di una rimonta pazzesca. Saranno 180 secondi di recupero. Palla che arriva alle mani del portiere. Fischia l'arbitro con la
Tieni, riprova.
si chiude dunque in questo istante. Ecco il
Perché
calcio
quanti
d'inizio del
FPS
secondo
mi
tempo.
tieni mentre sto in live?
Firmino.
Tu sta 40.
Madison.
Manco tu c'hai 40. Manco tu c'hai 40 fps.
Il gol ci viene mostrato da un'altra inquadratura e guarda l'esecuzione, è perfetta Pier. Abbiamo coordinazione, potenza, è un gran gol.
Si torna a giocare con gli azzurri che devono rimontare lo
Sì, è il telefono quando live è così.
Giocata di qualità per intercettare il pallone. Madison. Pallone gestito da Gerrard. Questo è il pallone giusto. Intervento decisivo del difensore che ha fermato l'attaccante, ha riconquistato il pallone.
Ma?
Passaggio impreciso, palla, il fallo laterale.
Non so che cosa ho fatto.
Timber. Zanetti. James Madison. Non ferma il Bobby Firmino.
Bello, il conto l'abbiamo. Dietro i sipari ti posso fare il 4-0.
Si riparte sul punteggio.
Dietro i sipari ti faccio il risultato vero.
La manovra Inter. Pallone importante per provare a riaprire la gara. Ecco il gol, il suo secondo gol personale quest'anno.
Ecco il gol che ci viene riproposto da un'altra angolazione. Ha scagliato il pallone in porta con una conclusione di rara potenza e bellezza,
Un match che non finisce di stupirci. 4-3 dopo questo gol. Siamo entrati nell'ultimo quarto d'ora. Ecco il fischio dell'arbitro, ci sarà calcio di punizione per l'Italia. Kovacic. Ultimi assalti disperati degli azzurri, serve un gol per la parità. Non si entra, è scivolato in area, ha rischiato tantissimo, ha rischiato il rigore. Jordi Alba. Cristiano Ronaldo. Ecco Pelé. Non concede nulla all'attaccante. Attenzione, pericolo. Intervento in tuffo dell'estremo difensore che toglie la palla dalla porta. C'è un cambio tra gli azzurri.
Lo so, per vedere perché va così male.
Recupera un gran pallone e il portiere recupera il pallone. Pelé avanza col pallone, può calciare in porta da lì. Hanno trovato il pareggio a poco dalla fine.
Che sega che sei, madò. LOL.
Trovano il pari sul filo di lana quando sembrava che ormai la partita fosse finita. Gol che mette tutti in discussione.
Oddio.
Finisce qui dunque, parità di questo.
Dai, facciamo l'ultimo.
Giocato di sofferto da entrambi, hanno provato a vincerlo fino all'ultimo.
Sì, pure io potevo vincere quando stavo. Ma che cazzo hai vinto? Vai, fai l'ultimo. No, t'ho invitato io, nel campo tuo laggo troppo. Nel campo tuo laggo troppo.
Nel campo tuo io laggo troppo.
Ma su, cava.
Vabbè, accetto.
Siamo in casa oggi, in Italia, in un match con lo stadio tutto esaurito. Pierluigi Pardo e Lele Adani pronti a raccontare le emozioni di un match dagli elevati contenuti.
Vuoi il pallone? Ti do la palla, vai.
Sfida ricca di contenuti.
Quella di
Ti do palla.
una partita piena di emozioni, Pier. E sono sicuro che vedere
Ti do palla, tieni.
privilegiata della cabina di commento la renderà ancora più memorabile. Non sto più nella pelle.
Esce e recupera il pallone. James Madison. E lo ferma. Hodgkinson. Palla per Zanetti. Grande giocata. Ha molto spazio per andare. Niente da fare, il difensore recupera. Pallone gestito da Gerrard. Recupero fantastico, sbroglia una situazione difficile. Occhio a Nedved. Ecco Firmino. Può battere a rete. Intervento decisivo che salva la porta. Gavi. Occasione per portarsi avanti. Decisivo qui il tackle. Attenzione, è calcio di rigore.
Addirittura.
Grande opportunità. La parata.
Che sega.
Interviene prima che sia troppo tardi.
Ah, Ronaldo, se era giovane.
Guadagna metri. Ha tentato il gol in acrobazia, conclusione che si è persa abbondantemente sul fondo.
Sicuramente Pierre è da apprezzare il coraggio, ma meno il risultato finale. È un gesto tecnico questo che non è nelle sue corde.
Pallone gestito da Gerrard. Esagera qui nel regalo.
Vabbè, i miei non rispondono ai comandi, quindi ci sta.
Milinkovic Savic.
I miei nemmeno rispondono ai comandi ogni tanto, specialmente mo.
La perde Firmino. Ecco il fischio dell'arbitro, ci sarà calcio di punizione per l'Italia. Ecco Son. Occhio a Cristiano.
Ma?
Intervento da cartellino questo, vediamo. C'era la potenza qui, ma il portiere è stato sicuro, non si è fatto cogliere impreparato. Primo tempo che va dunque in archivio, le squadre tornano negli spogliatoi. Tutto pronto, l'arbitro dà inizio alla seconda metà di gara. Kovacic ferma l'azione d'attacco degli avversari. Alla lunga per il compagno. C'è spazio, occasione. Ottima la copertura del difensore. Cristiano Ronaldo. C'è il tocco addirittura verso il portiere. Ottima lettura. Palla per Nedved. L'arbitro fa segno di proseguire, vantaggio per gli azzurri. Secondo fallo in pochi secondi, stavolta l'arbitro ferma il gioco, sarà punizione. Attentissimo, situazione che era complicata. Roberto Firmino attacca l'Italia. Fuori gioco, offside, tutto fermo.
Cazzo ridi, cazzo godi.
L'Italia opera 2 sostituzioni. Palla per Nedved. Intervento ruvido questo. Occhio al pallone per il possibile vantaggio.
Guarda come spazza il frocio.
Honninson. Grande possibilità. Ce ne hanno messo di tempo, ma finalmente è arrivato 1-0. Meglio tardi che mai, Pier.
Vinicius, mamma mia, prende gol da lui.
La messa al termine di una discesa irresistibile, mantenendo anche la giusta lucidità per battere il portiere.
Prendere gol da lui.
Valgono da solo il prezzo del biglietto.
Tutte e 3 le sostituzioni, una rivoluzione vera e propria. Hanno trovato il gol del vantaggio quando non manca molto al termine, potrebbe rivelarsi decisivo. Potrebbe essere il gol del pareggio. Grande intervento del difensore che risolve. Possesso per gli azzurri. Occhio perché questo può essere il pallone giusto. Chiusura fondamentale. Siamo entrati negli ultimi 5 minuti di gara. Possono trovare il gol del pari. Attenzione. È arrivato il gol del pari, la doccia fredda.
Era quasi arrivato.
La vittoria.
Non
questa che prende la sua voglia di lottare, di non arrendersi. l'ha messa dentro nonostante la marcatura asfissiante, come dimostrano queste immagini.
Hanno pareggiato, dunque 1-1. L'Italia ci crede, vuole vincere questa partita qui nel finale.
Che fa? Che passaggio fa?
Finisce la gara, pareggio per gli azzurri.
Niente, dobbiamo farne un altro.
Sognato dall'Italia.
Si staranno mangiando le mani per la rete presa pochi minuti dal tempo.
L'esame di?
A quest'ora staremmo commentando un'altra partita. Non bisogna mai mollare piede.
Va bene, dai.
Stasera off camera, ti diverti un po', mi distruggi, va bene?
Va bene, va bene. Bella, raga.